Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. I'm so excited about this Soulful Journeys with Angela Primm. My name is April Wooten. I'm a travel advisor, and this is my husband, Brian. We will be hosting this cruise in May of 2027. And yeah, I just want for those of you who don't know who Angela Primm is, I'd like for her to maybe say a little something about herself really quick before we get started. Hey,
Well,
Ann.
I'm trying to get the camera adjusted. Brian does all of this stuff for me. Okay, here we go. I think I'm okay. Wait, no, I'm not. There it is. Oh my word. But yes, I'm excited. I am a cruiser. So I'm just as excited and interested as some of you are on the webinar to ask questions and figure out what's the difference. And I'm excited. It's a new adventure for me with Phil and Brian and April. So I'm just ready to get started. But I'm a singer. I'm a gospel singer and I do a lot with the sound of Black gospel music. So let's get it together. And I'm going to figure out a way how to get this camera on my face.
Okay.
Brian, this is
Oh,
so awkward. Wait,
I can see you.
can you see me okay? But my
Yeah.
head ain't right. Okay, there we go.
Hey, we've
oh,
all known that for a while.
Brian, wait. I'm like, what in the world? Oh, I hate these things.
well.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to hand it on over to dear friend and cohort of ours, Phil Swartz. He is well versed, 30 plus, if not more, years in the travel and has traveled abroad and has gone on many journeys like this before with Alma Waterways. And so he is just going to explain all the details and wonderful things about this adventure. So, Phil Swartz, take it away.
Well, thank you, April, and hi, Angela. It's good to see you again. And I can't wait to get out there and hear some of your singing and so on. April was talking to me about this, and we got so excited that my wife Carol and I decided we're going along. So we can't wait on. I mean, we've been
Yay!
we've been all over the world. We've been to 7 continents, 105 different countries. And this, I got to say right now, this is one of the things I'm looking forward to more than anything. So y'all joined us on this, and we're gonna have a great time out there. So April asked if I would kind of walk through a little bit about what it's all about. Some people may not have ever been on a river cruise before, and so talk about that a little bit about the itinerary and so on. So I'll do that and throw in some videos along the way. So you can see here what the dates and so on is May 4th to 11th, 2027. That's a 7-day cruise on the Douro River. Now, if you look at the smaller print and under there, you'll see we have also an optional 3-day pre-cruise stay in Lisbon. So I'll walk through that in just a minute here. Okay, so that's the date, and you can go to unwindgetaways.com for all the information. I also put the QR code up there, so if you want to pull out your phone and just take a click on that, you can do that also to drive you right to that website. Okay, so where in the world are we going? Well, first of all, we're going over, and you'll see that this is Spain here. And Portugal, which you'll recognize here. The Douro River is up in the north of Portugal and it actually starts over here in Spain and then runs down and out. And the last port here is Porto itself. Okay. Now, we're going to start, though, if you're doing the 3-day pre-cruise, okay, we'll start down here in Lisbon, capital of Portugal. And that's a pretty fascinating place, too, because all of this whole cruise, it will be integrating all the things that AMA has on their river cruise in general, and then also putting in extra stuff, okay, on Black history and culture and so on. And, people sometimes forget that Portugal was one of the first great sailing nations around the world, and so they had ships all over. They were the sailors of their time, and they were also the first ones to kind of bring the slave trade in and so on. So a lot of that influence all through Portugal. So we'll be looking at all of those things on this. So the cruise itself will be round trip Porto. So we sail in right up to the border of Spain here and then back out again to Porto. So if you're doing just a cruise, you'll fly in and out of Porto. If you're doing the pre-3 nights along with the cruise, you'll fly into Lisbon here and then fly out of Porto. Of course, April will help to put all those pieces together and so on. But if you have frequent flyer miles, you can use those for the air. Otherwise, you can talk to April and she can help get you all hooked up for that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our 3-day stay in Lisbon. Okay, so Lisbon is just a great city. It's of course the capital and the largest city in Portugal. So we'll spend 3 days there. And of course, when you fly in, it's a red-eye flight from the United States. So it's an overnight flight. So we'll land there the first day. And the first day we don't hit the road running. Okay, we want to give you a little time to get it acclimated and so on. So that's a relaxing day, but we'll be there greeting people coming in. Our host from AMA will be there. Our cruise director will be there. And so we can give you some guidance on things to do, or if you just want to relax or whatever that day. So I want to tell you a little bit about what all is included in that 3-day pre-stay. Okay, so what's included with that, of course, is a hotel, of course, located right near the major sites. Daily breakfast at the hotel is included. And then we include excursions on those 3 days. So I'll talk a little bit more about each one of those, but it's city centers, medieval villages, the landmarks, the castles, all of that kind of thing is included with that. And then the transfers, as you can tell from the map I was showing before there, we have to move from Lisbon then up to the cruise. So from the hotel on up to the ship in Porto, that's included with it also. Okay. And then we have the services of a really extraordinary cruise manager from AMA. Now, the cruise manager that will be on our ship, and this is one of the unusual things with AMA, is the cruise manager that's on our ship will actually be with us for the 3 days in Lisbon. So you get to know them right there before you ever even get on the ship, which is great. Okay, so day 2 in Lisbon, that will be a tour of Lisbon, of course, and we do city tours. So Lisbon's just a very picturesque city that sits on a number of hills. So it's a hilly terrain there right out by the ocean. So we'll go to Belém Tower. It's an old 4-story tower that's centuries old. The Geronimo's Monastery, which is a burial place for a lot of the kings and the heroes of Portugal. Okay, so after we do that city tour, then we will also do a tour. And incidentally, on that city tour, we're going to eat some good pastries along the way because you have to eat on these cruises. They're great stuff. And we'll also go out to the monument of the Discoverers, which sits right there on the edge of the ocean. And this depicts all the famous Portuguese sailors and so on, explorers of times gone by. Now, I want to call out this, you see the bridge in the back there. That may look familiar to some of you. Kind of looks like the Golden Gate Bridge, doesn't it? Well, that's because the designer of this bridge is the same as the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, so after we do the city tour, then we're going to get some lunch and so on. And then we'll do also a tour of the history and culture of the Black people in the area in Portugal and specifically in Lisbon. Okay, so day 2 then, I can talk forever on these things, so I'll try not to take too much time. Okay, the next day then, which is day 3, we're going to go out to a little town. It's across the bay from Lisbon, but it's real close by there. Okay, and the name of the town is Sintra, and it's I call it a mountain village of artisans and craftsmen and things like that. So you can picture that in your head. This is really the town that the kings, the emperors from Portugal, when they wanted to get away from the hot summer heat and so on, they would escape to this little mountain town. And it's just a delight to be there. And it's highlighted right on top with the Pina Palace, which of course is where these kings would get away to on that. So we'll have a tour there and so on and spend the day there in Sintra. So that will be a great day. Okay, the next day then, we will head up for our ship. So we're going to be leaving Lisbon here and heading up to Porto. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a stop off here in Tomar. And the reason we're taking that stop off there is that this is the location for a very old, started really in the 12th century and so on. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Center there, and it's the Castle and Covenant of the Order of Christ. So we'll do a tour there just to break up our drive between Lisbon and Porto. That evening, we get to Porto, get on the ship and so on. You can spend some time walking around the area and so on. But this evening, you will not want to miss a special delight there. And that is, we'll take the cruise. We're not leaving yet, but we're going to take the ship off of the dock and sail through the city to see all the city lights on the sides and so on. So we call it an illumination cruise, but it is absolutely delightful. And so this is the point then that we're going to start our Douro River Cruise, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But you'll notice that already we're going to very quickly, as soon as we get out of the city, we'll start seeing the vineyards and the little farms and so on along the way that we're going to make some stops at on that. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the ship. Okay, this is the ship. It's the Douro. There are only 51 staterooms on that. And right now, I think there's 6 of those. We're just kicking this off right now, and there's 6 of those sold. And by the time you're listening to this on a recording, if you're listening later, it'll be a lot more. So we're just starting to sell this product. Okay, so this is a typical river cruise, by the way. And if you've not been on a river cruise before, you'll notice that it's kind of short and carrying not very wide. And in this case, not very long too. So it's only 51 staterooms on it, so it holds 102 people. Okay. So down below here on the lower deck is where your main meeting room is. So that's where the bar is, that's where the lounge is, that's where we'll have our onboard activities. And then up above, right in these windows here, is the restaurant, which I'll show you in a few minutes. So this is where you'll eat. So you can come out front, out here on deck, or go up to the top sun deck. This will be in May, so it should be beautiful weather. And so we'll spend time up there at the sun deck, a little splash pool. There's shady areas, there's sunny areas, whatever suits your fancy. And then later on, we're going to look at different stateroom types of places to stay. And so just from the outside, orient you a little bit. These windows down below here that you see, those are the beginning level cabins, and those are window cabins. And then the 2 decks above it have French balcony cabins and full step out balcony cabins. But we'll look at those in a little while. So let's take a quick look around the ship itself here. So this is the main restaurant. Gives you a little idea of what that's like. So breakfast and lunch are served in there, local delicacies and so on, but also American fare in there also. So, you know, I was telling the guys the other day, every once in a while, I just want a good hamburger and French fries for lunch, you know, so you do that, but all kinds of food there. And dinner, out comes white linens, the china and everything, and you have like a fabulous dinner there. Now, incidentally, soft drinks, beer, wine, mixed drinks, those are all served at lunch and dinner. Well, actually, if you want a Bloody Mary or something to start the day, I guess you could do that at breakfast. Okay, so we have all of that included with the meals also. This is the part of the lounge area. You see the bar back here in the back area, and then nice, comfortable seating. It holds everyone that's on the ship. And incidentally, we will have the whole ship. It's a charter, so we have the whole ship. So April's going to take charge of that and have Angela give us some good entertainment and so on. So we have the whole ship just to ourselves on that. Okay, then there also is a workout room. Not small, because you're on a river cruise. It isn't real big, okay? So it's small, but I know it's there because I walked by it various times and looked in, okay? So it's there, okay? You also can get massages if you want. Now, this one, the workout room's included in your price, no charge or anything. Massage, if you want that, that's an extra cost on that. Okay, or hop up top to the pool area, enjoy yourself up sunny side. And yes, ladies, there is even shopping on board, and plenty of shopping, of course, in the little towns and so on that we'll be in along the way. So a couple of the highlights I want to point out. One is we talked a little bit about cruise managers and how we'll have a cruise manager from the ship with us in Lisbon. So he'll come along with us, and he or she will come along with us and be on board. But actually on these cruises, we have 3 cruise managers with us, which is a great advantage. They serve as our guides a lot in the ports and so on, but they're with us so they can sit and eat with you, and you can learn all about their life, their experience, and so on along the way. Okay. Also, it's interesting, the Douro River in Portugal is very windy, as you saw from that first slide, up through the mountains and so on, or you see here on the left-hand side. And so as a result, it's really not navigable at nighttime. So we'll be spending our late evenings and nighttime docked somewhere. So you can even go into town during the evenings and that kind of thing. Also, it's great. The scenery is just fabulous. It reminds me a lot of the Moselle River in France. And so it's great that we're sailing in the daytime. So we might get up in the morning, be sailing during breakfast, some in the morning, and then come to a docking spot later in the morning and get off and do some excursions and that kind of thing. So some of the places that we'll be stopping are places like this, little local wineries and so on, and quintas, which are the little farms and little wine estates and so on that are all through there. So you'll see a lot of that along the way. But then we'll also bring some local talent on to do some traditional music of Spain and Portugal there also. Okay, so included, just to review on the cruise itself, we have the panoramic lounge. It has the bar, it has the piano, it has dance floor, so you can get out there and cut the rug, and fitness room, sun pool. Complimentary Wi-Fi, I hadn't mentioned that yet, but there is complimentary Wi-Fi that's included in your price and so on, so high-speed Wi-Fi on that. Massage services, notice a little asterisk up here, yes, that is an additional cost for massage services. Okay, breakfast and lunch featuring the regional cuisine, multi-course dinners in the restaurant there, then wines, beers, soft drinks, and so on with the meals. And also for an hour before dinner, it's open bar. So it's called Sip and Sail, and so you go in and you can have whatever you want to drink there for an hour before dinner without any charge. After dinner, when you go back into the lounge, you want a drink from the bar, that you pay for extra. Okay, so what they all know that I tell people to do is when you're at dinner and you're getting your whatever glass of red wine there, the last thing when you finish your dessert, what's the last thing you do? You call the maitre d' and he just pours you nice big drink of wine that you can pick up and take along upstairs. That way your first drink in the lounge doesn't cost you anything, okay? Okay. Also afternoon tea and a 24-hour coffee station. So if you can't sleep 2 o'clock in the morning, want to go get some tea or coffee or something, that's available there. There will be a welcome cocktail party, welcome dinner, captain's cocktail, and a gala dinner. Now, when you say gala dinner, sometimes people think, oh, dress up, suit and tie and stuff. No. Okay, we own the ship? No formal dress at all on anything on this cruise. So get comfortable and come as you are. Okay, I'm going to show you a little video of the Douro River from Amma now, and that will kind of orient you and give you an idea, watch the scenery and so on as it goes. One of our cruise directors is going to...
Are you ready for a river cruise experience unlike any other? Join Unwind Getaways on a cruise through the hearts of Portugal on the stunning and unique Douro River.
Our 7 nights Douro River itineraries, the enticing Douro and flavors of Portugal and Spain, offer many enriching and memorable experiences. Along the way, you can sip on renowned wines in the sun-kissed vineyards of Port Country and delight in the rich musical traditions of the region, such as fado and flamenco, with onboard performances. In Porto, the historic city of bridges, you are invited to explore a metropolis that never sleeps on a guided tour of the city's landmarks. Discover its historic quarter, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the beautiful São Bento railway station. With Unwind Getaways, you will also visit Pinhão in the heart of Port Wine Country. Here, you will find the 19th century Pinhão railway station adorned with hand-painted tiles depicting Pinhão's grape harvest. The historic city of Peso da Régua lies at the center of Portugal's port wine growing region. This city is your gateway to Lamego, where you will see the Santuário da Nossa Senhora dos Remédios on a city tour, or climb the beautiful tile-lined steps of the Holy Staircase on a guided hike. We will also venture to Castelo Rodrigo, where you can marvel at the spectacular views of the surrounding area during your walking tour through its medieval streets. You can also enjoy a tasting of local almonds, cheese, and bread. Throughout your river cruise, you will also be invited to dine on shore at nearby quintas or wine estates, where you will savor the flavors of Portugal with meals prepared by local chefs. Wine lovers have the opportunity to sample a variety of regions' renowned wines, including its famed port wines with included tastings.
We hope to welcome you on board soon so that you may explore the beauty of the Douro River in Portugal for yourself. Até breve.
Okay, well, hopefully that gives you just a little taste of the whole cruise on that. Again, just running through some of the places that will be out. This is actually Porto, the picture you're looking at right now. And the ship is actually docked just off the picture's edge here on the left-hand side. So when we're in Porto, right at the beginning of the cruise, or at the last day, which we spend a whole full day in Porto on our last day, there's a cable car that runs up to the bridge. You could go across the bridge. You could see the train station that they talked about over on the other side. There's lots of things to do there, and we'll do some touring, of course, on that also. Okay, some of the other highlights on each of these days, different days will have different Black history and culture excursions, as well as things on board. And we'll go through a little bit more of the on board in just a little bit. But some of the places we'll visit are places like this in Bataille's Palace and Gardens, which is great restored place. The gardens are unbelievable here. So it's really French type gardens here, which you'll love on that stop. Okay, and then when we get out to the very end, the border of Spain and Portugal, we'll actually be there for 2 days. So the first day, we're going to go up to this little place. And this is, again, a kind of a little mountain village that's hundreds and hundreds of years old. It has a great little old town area in there. And I can't pronounce these things. I get all wrecked on them, but it's like Castillo Rodrigo. Okay. It's a little fortified village up on the mountaintop, which is a great place to spend a day at. And then the next day, we'll actually do a motor coach and go into Salamanca. And if you know anything about Salamanca, it is just, it's just the picture of Europe. Okay? If you remember looking at, say, Jerusalem, and you see all these white sandstone buildings, well, the same thing as Salamanca. All the buildings are this white sandstone. Some of them, like over here on the right, this building is called the Shell House, because you can actually see the seashells embedded into the stone there. But we'll do a tour all through there. And then this picture up in the upper left here is the main town square, which everything circulates around there. So beautiful square with a beautiful church and so on there. And we'll give free time there. So we'll do a tour through there, and it's really a living museum. Salamanca itself is a World Heritage Site. So we'll spend time there, do a tour, have some lunch there, which is included, okay, and then give you some free time on your own. And of course, people love to do some shopping, take those souvenirs for home and so on. Okay, then we'll head back downriver the following days, and we'll stop at places like this, little places. And Penhol is a place that's little quinta, and we'll get some of the local music there, some local food, of course, some of the local port wine. We'll learn about the history and culture and the Black influence in the foods and so on of the Portugal area. And then that day also is flamingo. So we do a flamingo show. If you want to get up and dance with them, you're more than welcome to. I won't, but Brian, I'm sure will. Okay, so flamingo show that night. Go ahead, April. Is that Brian? He's gonna be out there dancing with them.
Oh no, Brian won't do it.
Angela will, won't you? Okay.
I will. Yes.
We'll do it
Yes.
together.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then we'll also stop at another place, which is the Sanctuary of Our Lady of Remedies, and this is way up on the top here is the actual sanctuary, if you would, and you have all these stairs that go up there. So it is just about 700 steps to get up there, but each landing that you come to are these blue, beautiful, centuries-old blue and white tiles that make up the pictures of the old times there. Now, you don't have to climb up there, so don't worry about it, okay? You can also ride the motor coach up. So some people like to climb up, that's fine. Other people just skip that part and we'll just go up to the sanctuary itself, okay? And still others like me like to ride up and then walk down the stairs. That's my direction preference there, okay? Okay, so then we will ride back into Porto. When we come in there, we'll spend the night in Porto, the whole next day in Porto, another night there, and then we fly out to come home the following morning. So we have a full day here to do all kinds of tourings in the area. And on these tours, when I introduce some of these, I'm not covering them all. So each day you have options of which ones you want to do. So you can do a walking tour, you might do a motor coach tour, you might do a Black history and culture tour. It's up to you what you want to do. So lots of places here in Porto to visit. You can do some wine cellars, you can do into the UNESCO section district that's there. So lots of different tours to do on that day. Okay, so I wanted to take a minute and say, okay, what kind of soulful experiences? Because we put this together as what we call Soulful Journeys. So it's a Black history and culture journey, and you learn more about that both in Portugal and then from our special guest here, Angela, also. So some of the things we'll have is I've mentioned a number of them. The custom tours, which are Black history and culture, and the influence it had on Portugal and its colonial connections that are in there. Okay. We'll have a special eating gastronomy, okay, presentation. And Brian says, what's that? That's an eating. We're going to eat, okay. And discussion on Portugal's cultural tapestry and the Black presence in that and how that has integrated on that. Now, we also have a local that will come on board, and he does what does it mean to be Black in Portugal? How's that look today? And how has it looked through history? And you'll hear a lot of their personal stories, which are just both fun, funny, and also very touching. So you won't want to miss those. And then we have a Mozambican chef that's coming, and he's going to do some traditional dishes. And you can see how it's some of the African culture that the food particularly has influenced the Portuguese food along the way. Okay, and of course I mentioned at the beginning a Black History tour in Lisbon if you're doing that with us also. And then last but not least, of course, is we're going to have a couple different things from Angela. Okay, we're going to have a talk on the origins of the Black American music, right? Is that right, Angela, with including blues and jazz?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, how it evolved, and the mixture of the white and Black is real interesting in the sound that everyone enjoys today. It's very strategic, and you'll be able to hear it. And a lot of my white brothers and sisters will realize that they're not as white as they think they are by the songs they sing.
That's a good point.
So you'll walk away saying, "I knew I had something in my blood."
That's right. That's right. So that's great. And I got to tell you, Angela, that's one of the things I'm looking to forward to the most. Okay, is just hearing your description of all that, and then of course hearing you vocally also break in and give us some real treats on that. And I understand that you might bring someone else with you that might treat us to some special music, like Louis Armstrong or something
Yeah,
like that. Is that right?
that old Satchmo. We're gonna raise him up, but you got to be careful because we, as Black people, we don't do a lot of scary stuff. So when I said we're gonna raise Satchmo up, everybody looks like what?
Okay, I mean, it's gonna be a great time. I can't wait to hear it. Okay, so
Yes.
to wrap up here, I wanted to give you just a one last video, and then I'll talk a little bit about the pricing and the different categories and so on.
There's so much history as African Americans that we do not know. We've never been shared or taught about in our history as an African American, and be immersed into the culture and learn about what the impact has been. It's been very moving to hear the different stories, the experience, the culture.
I thought it was amazing. I believe it's one of the best things that needed to come forward because it's needed for the Black community to experience different cultures in Europe and as well as know the Black history.
I really like the idea that the company is committed to supporting African Americans. I had a wonderful time and I'm glad I did it.
And the experiences, the welcoming that we had as a group, I'm not going to forget that ever.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the stateroom, and then I'll let y'all go. And we forgot to mention at the beginning, but if you have questions, there's a chat function in your window there, and you just click on that chat, put your questions in, and so on, and we'll make sure that they get answered also. Okay, so stateroom accommodations. First of all, there's different levels of stateroom and different prices, of course, for the different staterooms. Yeah, but all the staterooms have some things in common, that this is what they are. So they're all outside accommodations. There is no, like on a large cruise ship, there is no inside staterooms. Okay, so everything has a window or a balcony on this. Marble bathrooms, multi-jet showers, soothing bath products, terry bathrobes, slippers, hair dryers, everything you need. If now you're starting to think, boy, this looks like a luxury cruise, it is. Okay, it is really a luxury cruise. Okay. Generous closet, storage areas, and it does have an in-room safe in every room, so you can put your passports or your other valuables that you want to lock away in there. Okay. Entertainment on board. Yeah, every room, of course, has a large screen TV, but it's more than just a TV. I mean, you can get movies on it, you can get music on it, you can get, of course, TV on it. You can also use it as a computer. So the keyboard you pull out, and you can use it as a computer, and of course, Wi-Fi is included. The Wi-Fi you can also use with your phone, with your tablet, whatever else you want to use on that. All the rooms have individual air conditioning, air control, so you determine your temperature there. And bottled water is replenished daily in the rooms also, as well as all the other places around the ship that you have to get things. Okay, so looking at some of the staterooms, this is your beginning inside state window stateroom. Okay, and so it's a nice size stateroom. It's down on those windows I showed you at the beginning. So you can see it's a kind of an upper window here that you look out and you can see the swans swimming by or whatever else is there. So that starts at $45.58 per person. We also have payment plans. So you can say, hey, I want on the payment plan. So you pay a small deposit, okay, and then monthly payments. So those start as low as $223 per month on that. So it's really affordable for anybody on that. Taking a step up is the French balcony. Now this is back of where the curtain here is a sliding door. So you pull the curtain over to the side. You can open that up, Okay, but there's a railing right there, so you can't step out onto anything. It's a railing right there where your big window is. Okay, French balcony start at $59.98 per person, $241 per month if you're on the payment plan. Okay. The next level up is a step-out balcony. It's an even larger cabin, so you see there's some seating areas and so on there. The little desk area over here, and then the balcony you can sit out on there. And I should explain where I'm standing to take pictures here. All the storage area, the closet and so on is over here to my left, and then over to the right is a marble bathroom with everything that's in there. Okay. Finally, if you want to really do it up, you go up to the big suites, and there's only 4 of these on board. One of those is sold already, so there's still a couple available for you. Okay, and it's $84.98 per person, $442 a month on the payment plan. Now, there's 2 different ways you could do this payment-wise. On either one of them on the pricing, the first thing is you do have an $800 per person deposit. Okay, but that's fully refundable until June 1st of 2026. That's like a year from when I'm making this recording anyway. Okay, so it's $800 per person, credit card, e-check, check, cash, whatever you want to pay on that. But that's fully refundable until next June. And then next May 1st, an additional $1,700 per person is due. And then the final payment is January 15th, 2027. So that will get here before you know it. Okay. Now notice that if you are paying by credit card, there is a 3.5% processing fee for the credit card. The other way of doing it is by payment plan, and we've spread it out on 18-month payments. Okay, so you do an $800 deposit, just as we said on the slide above here. Okay, and then you make monthly payments, and like I said, it starts as low as $223 per month, and you do monthly payments until the final payment time. Okay, makes sense. One other pricing is the pre-cruise in Lisbon, and that is $1,050 per person, double occupancy. Okay, and $1,479 per person if it's single occupancy. Okay, so what you need to do is get a hold of April. Simple as that. Here's her phone number. Here again is QR code. If you want to pull your phone out and shoot the scan the QR code, I'll take you right to the website. Okay. Or you can email her at april@unwindgetaways.com. Okay. So extra special for you being on this special webinar here is if you book by July the 8th, that's 2 weeks from today, I believe. If you book by then, put your deposit down by then, we'll give you an extra $100 per person of shipboard credit that you can use in the spa and the gift shop and stuff like that. Okay. Okay, April, did I cover everything there?
I think so. What do you think?
Okay, take it away.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Phil. I am so excited for you to join us on this amazing journey down the Douro River with Angie Primm, and it's just going to be absolutely amazing, super educational, just across the board. So I cannot wait. Yes, please contact me with questions and all the things that go along with it. I'm so excited for you to join us and just have a great time.
It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always
I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too. It's always fun hanging out with Angela Primm. It's always good traveling with Phil and Carol.
Yes.
Carol's picture, but
You've known Angela for many years. I just met her, but one of the things I notice about her is she always has a smile on her face.
yeah,
She laughs. Is that right?
That's it. Yeah, it comes from my teeth being so big. That's all. But,
Oh, okay. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay. Okay,
but
well, great.
I'm excited. I'm more so excited in experiencing a river cruise because I came back on a cruise last week, and that marked my 31st cruise that I've ever I've sailed on. So I love cruises, but Brian was telling me the difference between the river cruise and the ocean cruise liners, and how the luxury, the difference, the attentiveness of the river cruise. I'm excited about that. I was looking at the rooms, and we didn't get to see the restrooms, but it is a restroom, per cabin, just like it would be the ocean. So I know that some people will be asking about that. Is it a
Oh yeah,
dorm or what? So I think that that's exciting. That will be exciting to see. That will be exciting.
that will be great. And now you just came off of a cruise and on an ocean vessel. Roughly how many people were on that cruise?
It was 4,000.
4,000 people. And on
And
here you got to have a hundred
I
and
listen, Phil, it was 4,000, and it felt like 399 of them were children. I
uh,
said, I'll never do another cruise when school is out. I mean, kids were all over the place. Ooh, so I am excited because I love to get away with the Lord. I love to be able to look at his beauty. I was looking at the pictures and I was like, it kind of feels like a train ride, how some people like to ride the train, and it's a little bit more refined, and you can look and you can see and you can be more detailed into what you're seeing. So I'm excited. I was just telling my girls the other day, God has many shades of green,
yes, yes.
and he gives us talent to show the various shades. And when you show the boat in the water, I was like, oh, look at God and all this green. This is going to be good.
And it surrounds you. We've already had people that have booked that have asked, well, no, which side of the ship do I want my cabin to be on? I want to be able to see land when we're sailing. And I say, honey, you're on a narrow river. Okay, when you go up through it, doesn't matter. It's on both sides. So you want to go up to that sun deck and just look all around and spot this castle high up in the hill here and this
Oh my
winery
God.
over here. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it that I was looking at the ancient castles. I love what I'm in Norway before COVID hit, but I was in Norway, and I leave again in October. But I go and I teach the sound of Black gospel music to Norwegians, and some of their churches are the oldest church I was in was 2,000 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the atmosphere. If something happens when you're around ancient artifacts, when you can be there and knowing that it's been there, it does something. There's a chemistry that happens with the Lord that allows you to be able to see what was and what is. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited about that. Yeah.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Tell your friends about it and tell them, come on over to the website, look at this thing. We got to get going on this, okay?
Yeah.
So thanks again, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.